I challenge you to reconsider everything you think you know about finding peace and tranquility in Austria. Yes, it offers stunning scenery and excellent work-life balance, but can you handle the reality of what daily life actually looks like? Most people focus on Austria's benefits without considering how the challenges might specifically impact their mental well-being. Today, I'm challenging you to think beyond the postcard image and consider whether you're truly prepared for the language barriers, financial pressures, and cultural adjustments that could disrupt your pursuit of serenity. You walk into a local shop expecting a simple transaction, but the moment you speak English, the atmosphere changes completely. The shopkeeper's expression shifts from welcoming to guarded. What should take 2 minutes stretches into an uncomfortable dance of gestures and broken phrases. This isn't just about buying groceries. It's your first taste of the psychological isolation that defines expat life in Austria. Language barriers in Austria create something far more damaging than communication difficulties. They build invisible walls around your mind, cutting you off from the social connections that keep humans mentally healthy. While Austria markets itself as an international hub with excellent English proficiency, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Austrians often know English, but choose not to use it in casual interactions, leaving you perpetually on the outside of conversations. This contradiction between Austria's global image and local behavior creates a unique form of stress. You expected European cosmopolitanism, but encounter linguistic gatekeeping instead. Office meetings switch to German the moment you leave the room. Neighbors stop their friendly chatter when you approach. Social invitations dry up because groups prefer speaking their native language without the burden of translation. The exclusion becomes a constant mental load. Your brain works overtime trying to decode fragments of German conversations, wondering if people are discussing you. Workplace dynamics shift as colleagues bond over jokes and cultural references you can't access. Professional opportunities slip away because important information travels through informal German language networks you can't penetrate. Research from the European Journal of Social Psychology shows that language isolation triggers elevated cortisol production, the same stress hormone released during physical danger. Your body interprets social exclusion as a survival threat, keeping your nervous system in a heightened state that prevents the relaxation you moved to Austria to find. Austrian dialects add another layer of complexity that catches even German speakers off guard. Standard German from textbooks won't help you understand Tyrolean or Vorarlberg regional speech patterns. Native German speakers from other countries often struggle with local expressions and pronunciation, extending your learning curve by years rather than months. Studies from the International Journal of Intercultural Relations link chronic communication barriers to increased depression rates among educated expats. The cognitive load of constant translation, combined with social isolation, creates a mental health perfect storm. Your brain craves the effortless communication you took for granted in your home country. The isolation compounds with other challenges you'll face. When language barriers prevent you from building support networks, every additional stressor hits harder. You can't easily seek help, share frustrations, or find community during difficult times. The peaceful Austrian lifestyle you imagined becomes a source of chronic stress as communication failures pile up daily. This social isolation sets the stage for how financial pressures become even more overwhelming when you can't effectively navigate local systems or seek advice. The same mountain views and quality of life that attract you come with a price tag that might shatter your peace of mind. Austria ranks as the 18th most expensive country globally, according to CEO World magazine. This ranking means your daily mental load shifts from enjoying Austrian serenity to constantly calculating whether you can afford basic necessities. Most people expect European living to cost less than major American cities, but Vienna and Innsbruck housing costs destroy that assumption quickly. The average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Vienna hits 1,010 EUR, while three-bedroom apartments average 1,117 EUR monthly. These numbers force you to spend a massive portion of your income on housing alone, creating immediate financial pressure that contradicts the calm lifestyle you sought. Financial stress from high living costs creates a constant background anxiety that your nervous system can't ignore. Your brain dedicates precious mental energy to budget calculations instead of appreciating Austrian culture. Research shows that financial stress directly disrupts sleep quality and reduces meditation effectiveness, destroying the two primary tools people use to maintain inner peace. Expensive basics like groceries and utilities force you into perpetual budget mode. Electricity averages 20 EUR monthly, but this represents just one small piece of the financial puzzle. Every shopping trip becomes a mental exercise in cost comparison. You find yourself choosing generic brands over quality products, skipping social activities to save money, and constantly monitoring bank account balances instead of enjoying Austrian experiences. The psychological impact of downgrading lifestyle expectations while paying premium prices creates a unique form of frustration. You imagined European sophistication, but discover you can afford less than you did in your home country. The average Austrian salary ranges between 1,700 and 2,200 EU monthly, which feels insufficient when rent alone consumes half your income. This income-to-cost ratio forces difficult choices between financial security and quality of life. Over 60% of Viennese residents live in subsidized housing, highlighting how even locals struggle with housing costs. As an expat, you typically can't access these subsidies immediately, placing you at a significant financial disadvantage. The gap between your housing costs and what locals pay adds another layer of financial stress. Financial pressure affects job-seeking behavior in dangerous ways. Desperation makes you accept lower salaries or positions below your qualifications just to cover basic expenses. This desperation undermines your negotiating power and traps you in unsatisfactory employment situations. The pursuit of Austrian quality of life can trap you in financial anxiety cycles that prevent the happiness you expected. Beautiful scenery doesn't compensate for the stress of wondering whether you can afford next month's rent. Austria's high quality of life infrastructure requires high costs that many expats underestimate, making personal happiness elusive despite the country's objective advantages. This financial pressure makes the job market challenges even more critical for your mental well-being. You need a job to afford Austrian life, but the job market demands the very German skills that take years to develop. This creates an impossible circular trap where you need employment to afford German lessons and living costs, but you need German proficiency to secure meaningful employment. Your savings drain while you wait for language skills to catch up with job requirements. The statistics reveal a harsh reality that contradicts Austria's reputation for work-life balance. Foreign nationals face a 9.1% unemployment rate compared to the 6.3% national average. This disparity means you're competing for fewer positions while carrying the additional burden of proving your language capabilities alongside your professional qualifications. Job insecurity creates the opposite of the stable, peaceful environment you moved to Austria to find. Instead of enjoying Austrian leisure culture, your mental energy focuses on survival concerns. Each rejected application chips away at your confidence while your bank account dwindles. The stress of uncertain employment status prevents you from appreciating the work-life balance Austrians value because you can't achieve the work part of that equation. Research from occupational psychology journals shows that unemployment among educated professionals triggers significant drops in self-worth and dramatic increases in anxiety levels. Your professional identity, built over years of career development, becomes irrelevant when language barriers block access to appropriate positions. The psychological impact extends beyond financial concerns to fundamental questions about your competence and value. English-speaking positions concentrate in expensive cities like Vienna and tourist destinations such as Salzburg, creating geographic constraints that worsen financial pressure. You must choose between language-limited job opportunities in affordable areas or English-speaking roles in cities where housing costs consume most of your salary. This geographic limitation traps you in the most expensive parts of Austria precisely when you need to minimize costs. The psychological toll of being overqualified but underemployed due to language requirements destroys professional satisfaction. You watch less qualified German speakers advance, while your experience becomes worthless. Graduate degrees and specialized skills mean nothing when you can't communicate complex ideas in German. This professional regression attacks your sense of accomplishment and future prospects. These combined stressors create cumulative effects that compound during seasonal challenges. Language isolation prevents you from building professional networks. Financial pressure from high costs and limited income sources increases desperation. Employment insecurity undermines the stability you sought in Austria. Each challenge feeds the others, creating an overwhelming system of stress that destroys peace of mind. Career limitations compound with language barriers and financial pressures to create a perfect storm of anxiety. The peaceful Austrian lifestyle becomes unreachable when you can't secure stable employment that matches your qualifications. These year-round stressors reach their breaking point during Austria's harsh winters, when seasonal factors strip away your remaining psychological defenses. Just when you think you've adapted to Austrian challenges, winter arrives and strips away your remaining psychological defenses. The season stretches from December through March, bringing months of gray skies and bone-chilling temperatures that test your mental resilience when it's already stretched thin. This isn't the cozy alpine winter from tourism brochures. It's a psychological endurance test that breaks people who are already struggling with language barriers, financial pressure, and employment uncertainty. Austria's long gray winters act as the final stressor that pushes struggling expats past their breaking point. The season that should offer warm retreats and peaceful reflection instead amplifies every existing problem you face. Your language isolation becomes more pronounced when social gatherings move indoors to German-speaking homes you can't access. Financial stress intensifies as heating bills spike dramatically during the coldest months. Job searching becomes nearly impossible as many businesses reduce hiring and networking opportunities disappear. Reduced sunlight affects your brain chemistry in measurable ways, while your other stressors remain completely unchanged. Winter days in Austria provide only 7 to 8 hours of weak sunlight, disrupting your body's natural serotonin production. This neurotransmitter regulates mood, sleep, and energy levels. Without adequate sunlight exposure, your circadian rhythm shifts, creating sleep disturbances that compound your existing anxiety about money and employment. Seasonal affective disorder rates climb significantly among expats in Central Europe during these extended dark periods. The combination of reduced daylight, social isolation, and pre-existing adaptation stress creates perfect conditions for depressive episodes. Your brain lacks the chemical resources to maintain optimism while managing multiple life stressors simultaneously. Winter increases heating costs substantially, worsening the financial stress you already face from Austria's high living expenses. Utility bills can double during peak winter months, forcing you to choose between staying warm and maintaining your already tight budget. This additional financial burden arrives precisely when job opportunities decrease and your earning potential drops. Shortened days, and Austria's tradition of closing most businesses on Sundays, create additional lifestyle restrictions that feel suffocating. Your weekend options shrink to nearly nothing when stores close and social venues become inaccessible. The combination of limited daylight and restricted business hours traps you indoors with your thoughts during the most psychologically vulnerable time of year. Multiple stressors converge during Austrian winters to create a mental health perfect storm. Language barriers prevent you from seeking help or building support networks. Financial pressure from heating costs adds urgency to your employment search. Just as opportunities vanish, seasonal depression saps your energy for addressing these challenges. Individual Austrian problems combine to disrupt every aspect of your pursuit of serenity, transforming your search for peace into a daily struggle for psychological survival. These compounding factors reveal the harsh reality about Austrian living that tourism materials never mention. Austria's beauty masks a complex web of stressors that can destroy the very peace you're seeking. The Internation's Expat Insider Survey ranks Austria 52nd out of 53 countries for ease of settling in, with expats citing unfriendly locals as a major obstacle. Language barriers create psychological isolation, while financial pressures from high living costs generate constant anxiety. Employment limitations compound these challenges, and winter amplifies every existing problem. Before moving to Austria, honestly assess your resilience against these combined stressors. Can you handle years of language learning while managing financial pressure and job insecurity? Sometimes the pursuit of peace requires staying where you can actually achieve it.